On the distant planet of Zelaris, the sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over the crumbling ruins of what once was a thriving city. The air was thick with despair, and the vibrant colors of the landscape were dulled by the weight of hopelessness. The Zelaris people, a small but resilient alien species, were fighting a losing battle against a relentless enemy. They had lost many of their homes, and with each passing day, their hope faded. Tharun, the leader of the Zelaris, stood on a rocky outcrop overlooking the remnants of his city. His heart felt heavy as he watched his people gather in the town square. They were tired and frightened, their eyes reflecting the fear that gripped their hearts. He knew they needed hope, something to believe in. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the ruins, Tharun summoned the remaining members of his council. He wanted to share his thoughts with them, to unite them in their struggle. As they gathered, he could see the worry etched on their faces. Each member of the council had lost friends and family to the enemy, and now they faced the threat of extinction. "Listen," Tharun began, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. "We cannot give up now. Our ancestors faced challenges far greater than this, and they found a way to survive. We must do the same." The council members exchanged glances, unsure of what to say. One of them, Alicia, spoke up. "But Tharun, we have lost so much. The enemy is closing in on us. What can we possibly do?" Tharun took a deep breath, gathering his thoughts. "I have heard stories of a time when humans came to help those in need. They fought for their friends and allies. Perhaps we can reach out to them." The idea of humans sparked a flicker of hope among the council members. They had heard tales of the humans' bravery, their willingness to stand against evil. But could they really expect help? Would the humans even know of their plight? As they discussed the possibility, Tharun shared a story he had heard long ago, one that had been passed down through generations. "Long ago," he said, "when a neighboring planet was under attack, the humans arrived just in time. They fought fiercely and saved countless lives. We must try to contact them. They are our only hope." The council members listened intently. The story of the humans' bravery inspired them, and their hearts began to lift. Perhaps it was possible that help was on the way. Just as Tharun was about to propose a plan to send a message to the humans, a loud explosion echoed through the air. The ground shook beneath their feet, and dust and debris filled the sky. Panic erupted as the council members scattered, seeking shelter from the impending doom. Tharun's heart sank as he realized the enemy had found them again. "Quick! We must get to safety," Tharun shouted, leading the way through the chaos. They ran through the narrow streets, dodging falling rocks and the shadows of their enemies. Tharun's mind raced with fear for his people, but he knew they had to survive. If they could just find a way to reach out to the humans, maybe they could still be saved. As they reached a hidden cave outside the city, Tharun turned to his remaining followers. "We cannot give up. We will send a message to the humans no matter what it takes. We must believe that they will hear us." With determination in their eyes, the Zelaris people began to plan their next move. They would not go quietly into the night. They would fight for their survival, and they would reach out to their human allies. In that cave, surrounded by darkness, a small flame of hope ignited within them. They were ready to fight back, to call for help, and to believe that they were not alone. The struggle for Zelaris had only just begun. Inside the dimly lit cave, the Zelaris people huddled together, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of a flickering light. Tharun stood at the front, his heart pounding with urgency. They had to act quickly if they were to have any chance of survival. Outside, the distant sounds of destruction echoed through the air, a constant reminder of the enemy's presence. "Everyone listen!" Tharun called out, his voice steady and strong. "We need to send a message to the humans. They are our only hope now. If we do not act, we will lose everything." Alicia, still shaken from the explosion earlier, stepped forward. "But how can we contact them? Our communication devices were destroyed in the last attack." Her eyes reflected a mix of fear and determination. Tharun nodded, acknowledging the challenge. "We must find a way. There is an old spaceship hidden in the forest, a relic from a time when we had stronger ties with the humans. It may still work. We can use it to send our message." A murmur of hope spread through the group. The idea of an old spaceship rekindled their spirits. They had heard stories about it, a vessel that had once traveled far and wide. If they could reach it, they might have a chance. "Let's go!" Tharun urged. "We don't have much time. We need to move quickly before the enemy finds us again. With determination in their hearts, the Xylaris people set out into the night. The forest was thick with trees, their dark shapes looming over them like silent watchers. Tharun led the way, navigating through the shadows while keeping an eye out for danger. The air was tense with anticipation, but each step brought them closer to hope. After what felt like hours, they finally arrived at the hidden clearing where the old spaceship lay. It was covered in vines and dirt, looking as if it had been forgotten for centuries. The sight of it sent a wave of emotions through the group: fear, excitement, and a glimmer of hope. Tharun approached the spacecraft and ran his fingers over the metal surface. "This is it. We can fix it," he said, his voice filled with determination. "Let's get to work!" The group quickly set to work, each member using their skills to help restore the ancient ship. Elysia worked on the control panel, brushing away the dirt and debris. Other Xylaris people checked the engines, trying to figure out what still worked. They knew that time was of the essence. They could not afford to fail. As they worked, Tharun kept reminding everyone of their goal. "Remember why we are doing this. We are fighting for our lives. We cannot give up!" Hours passed, and just as dawn began to break, Elysia let out a cry of joy. "I think I can get the communication system to work. If we can power it up, we can send our message." The others cheered, their spirits lifting as they rallied around her. Tharun felt a surge of hope. Perhaps they would make it after all. But just then, the ground shook violently, and a loud explosion echoed nearby. The enemy had found them. Tharun's heart raced as he realized they were running out of time. "Quick! We need to finish this now!" he shouted, urging everyone to work faster. They could hear the enemy soldiers approaching, their voices growing louder. Elysia focused intently on the control panel, her fingers flying over the buttons. "Almost there! Just a little more time!" she called out, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. As the sound of footsteps drew closer, Tharun stood guard at the entrance of the ship, ready to fight. He could see shadows moving through the trees, and his heart sank at the thought of losing everything they had worked for. Finally, Elysia shouted, "I've got it! The communication system is online!" Tharun quickly rushed to her side, his heart pounding. "Now we need to send a message. What should we say?" Elysia took a deep breath. "We need to tell them that we are in danger and that we need their help. We must make it clear that time is running out." With urgency, Tharun began to send the message, his fingers flying over the keys. "Humans! This is Tharun of the Xylaris. We are under attack! We need your help. Please, if you hear this, come quickly." As the message transmitted into the unknown, Tharun felt a mix of fear and hope. They had done everything they could. Now all they could do was wait and pray for a miracle. The sun began to rise over Xylaris, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. Tharun and the Xylaris people waited anxiously inside the old spaceship, their hearts heavy with worry. They had sent their desperate call to the humans, but now they could only hope that someone had heard them. Outside, the sounds of the enemy grew louder. The ground shook with each step of the approaching soldiers, their voices harsh and threatening. Tharun paced back and forth, glancing at Elysia, who was still working on the control panel. She was trying to boost the signal, hoping to make their message reach further. "Elysia, how much longer?" Tharun asked, his voice strained with tension. "I'm almost done," she replied, her fingers moving quickly over the buttons. "If I can just adjust this frequency—" "There! That should help!" Tharun felt a spark of hope. "Good! We need every chance we can get." He glanced toward the entrance, where the sounds of the enemy were getting closer. "We can't let them find us. We have to be ready to fight if they break in." Suddenly, a loud crash echoed outside, followed by shouts from the enemy soldiers. The Xylaris people held their breath, fear gripping their hearts. Tharun could feel the tension in the air, thick as the morning mist. Just then, Elysia turned to Tharun, her eyes wide with excitement. "I think I can send another message. I can ask for backup. If we can get their attention, maybe they can come quickly." "Do it!" Tharun urged. "We need all the help we can get." With renewed determination, Elysia focused on the panel again. She quickly typed a message, explaining their situation in detail and urging the humans to hurry. Tharun watched her work, his heart racing. Every second counted. Outside, the enemy was drawing closer. Tharun could hear their footsteps and the clanging of weapons. He steeled himself, ready to defend his people if necessary. But then, just as the enemy reached the clearing, a bright light suddenly appeared in the sky. Tharoon squinted, shielding his eyes from the glare. "What is that?" he asked, his heart racing. Elysia looked up, her face lighting up with joy. "It's a ship! It must be the humans!" The Xylaris people rushed to the entrance of the spaceship, their fears momentarily forgotten. Above them, a sleek craft descended from the sky, its metallic surface shimmering in the morning light. The humans had come! As the ship landed gracefully on the ground, Tharoon felt a rush of relief and excitement. He turned to his people, their faces reflecting a mix of hope and disbelief. "They made it! Our allies are here!" The hatch of the human ship opened and several figures stepped out. They were tall and strong, dressed in uniforms that gleamed under the sunlight. Tharoon's heart swelled with gratitude as he recognized the leader, a human named Captain Lyra. "Tharoon!" she called out, her voice strong and commanding. "We received your message just in time."
"We are here to help."
"Thank you. Thank you for coming," Tharoon shouted, running toward her. "We are under attack. The enemy is closing in on us, and we need your strength." Captain Lyra nodded, her expression fierce. "We will fight with you. Show us where they are!" Tharoon led the humans to the edge of the forest, where the sounds of the enemy were now mixed with confusion. The Xylaris people stood tall beside their human allies, their fear replaced by courage. Together, they were ready to face the threat. As they approached the clearing, the enemy soldiers halted, their eyes widening in shock at the sight of the humans. They had not expected anyone else to come to the aid of the Xylaris people. "Form up!" Captain Lyra commanded, her voice ringing out with authority. The humans quickly arranged themselves, weapons at the ready. The Xylaris followed suit, their determination rekindled by the arrival of their allies. Tharoon felt a surge of hope and strength. "We will fight together," he said, looking at both the humans and his people. "Today, we will show them that we are not alone." The enemy soldiers hesitated, unsure of what to do. They had come to crush the Xylaris, but now they faced a united front. With a battle cry, Captain Lyra led the charge, and Tharoon followed close behind. As they engaged in battle, the Xylaris and humans fought side by side, their combined strength proving formidable. Tharoon felt alive in the chaos, his fear transformed into determination. With their allies at their side, they were ready to reclaim their home and fight for their future. The battle raged on in the clearing as Tharoon, Captain Lyra, and the Xylaris people fought side by side against the enemy. The air was filled with shouts and the sounds of weapons clashing, but the unity between the Xylaris and their human allies made them stronger than ever. Tharoon could see the determination on the faces of his people. They had spent so long hiding and fearing the enemy, but now they were fighting back. With every strike, they pushed the enemy further back into the forest. Tharoon felt a surge of courage. Together, they would defend their home. "Stay close!" Captain Lyra shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We need to find their leader. If we can take him down, we can end this fight." Tharoon nodded, and they moved as a group, dodging enemy attacks and working together to fend off their foes. Elysia fought valiantly beside Tharoon, her eyes fierce with determination. They were a team now, united in their cause. Suddenly, a loud roar echoed from the edge of the clearing. Tharoon looked up to see a giant creature emerge from the trees, a beast that the Xylaris had never seen before. It had sharp claws, glowing red eyes, and a terrifying growl that sent shivers down Tharoon's spine. "What is that?" Elysia gasped, fear creeping into her voice. "It's one of their war beasts," Captain Lyra said, her expression serious. "We need to take it down before it reaches our lines." Without hesitating, Tharoon rushed forward, gripping his weapon tightly. He couldn't let fear stop him now. He had to protect his people. He could feel the adrenaline coursing through his veins as he charged toward the beast. The creature lunged at him with a terrifying speed. Tharoon barely dodged its claws, rolling to the side and regaining his footing. Just as he prepared to strike, he heard a loud blast from behind him. A beam of energy shot past him, hitting the creature square in the side. It roared in pain, staggering back. Tharoon turned to see Captain Lyra standing confidently, her weapon aimed at the beast. "Great shot!" he yelled, feeling a rush of gratitude. "Let's finish this." With renewed strength, Tharoon joined the charge. They moved together, Captain Lyra and Tharoon coordinating their attacks. Elysia and the other Xylaris followed, and soon the beast was surrounded. Tharoon struck at its legs, while Captain Lyra fired her weapon at its head. Finally, with one last powerful blow, the creature collapsed to the ground, defeated. Tharoon and his allies breathed a sigh of relief, knowing they had overcome this dangerous foe. But the battle was far from over. "Keep moving!" Captain Lyra shouted, urging them onward. "We need to find the enemy leader before they regroup." As they advanced deeper into the clearing, they came across a group of enemy soldiers, their leader standing at the front. He was a tall figure with dark armor and an intimidating presence. Tharoon felt a chill run down his spine. This was the enemy leader they had to confront. "There they are!" Captain Lyra said, her voice steady. "We need to take him down!" Tharoon nodded, and together they charged toward the enemy leader. The soldiers turned, shock written on their faces as they realized they were being attacked from all sides. In the midst of the fight, Tharoon felt a sudden surge of energy and determination. He pushed forward, battling through the enemy soldiers, knowing that they were fighting for their home and their future. With each strike, he felt more confident. Just as they were closing in on the enemy leader, he unleashed a powerful attack, sending several Xylaris soldiers flying. Tharoon felt a wave of fear, but he pushed it down. They could not lose now. With a fierce cry, Tharoon surged ahead, ducking under the enemy leader's swings. He landed a blow to the leader's side, and the figure staggered back, surprise written across his face. Captain Lyra joined him, their weapons clashing against the enemies. "Together!" Tharoon shouted, rallying his allies. With one final push, they coordinated their attacks, striking at the enemy leader with everything they had. Finally, with a resounding roar, the leader fell to the ground, defeated. Cheers erupted from the Xylaris people as the remaining enemy soldiers fled into the forest. Tharoon felt a wave of relief wash over him. They had done it. They had fought back and saved their home. As the dust settled, Tharoon turned to Captain Lyra, gratitude shining in his eyes. "Thank you for coming to our rescue. We couldn't have done this without you." Lyra smiled, her expression warm. "We are allies now. We will always stand by your side." Together, they looked over the clearing, knowing that they had changed the fate of their world. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the battlefield, the air was thick with a mixture of exhaustion and triumph. Tharoon and the Xylaris people stood alongside Captain Lyra and the human soldiers, surveying the remnants of the battle. The enemy had retreated, and their leader was defeated. For the first time in many moons, hope flickered in the hearts of the Xylaris. "We did it!" Elysia exclaimed, her voice bright with excitement. She turned to Tharoon, her eyes shining. "We fought together and we won!" Tharoon nodded, a sense of pride swelling within him. "Yes, but we must stay alert. The enemy will not give up so easily. They will come back." Captain Lyra stepped forward, her expression serious. "You're right, Tharoon. We cannot let our guard down, but this victory shows that together we are stronger. We must prepare for whatever they try next." Tharoon agreed. "We need to unite our forces, train together, and strengthen our defenses. If we stand as one, we can protect our world." The Xylaris people murmured in agreement. They felt a sense of solidarity with their human allies, and for the first time, they believed they could face any challenge together. Over the next few days, the atmosphere in the Xylaris village transformed. The humans and Xylaris worked side by side, sharing their skills and knowledge. Captain Lyra led training sessions, teaching the Xylaris how to use advanced weaponry. Elysia showed the humans the secrets of their land, guiding them through the forests and mountains. Tharoon took it upon himself to strengthen the spirit of his people. He held gatherings where he spoke of bravery, unity, and hope. "We have faced darkness," he told them, his voice strong. "But we are not alone anymore. Together we can stand against any threat. Together we are powerful." The Xylaris cheered, their hearts filled with pride and determination. They were no longer just a small tribe fighting for survival. They were part of a larger alliance. One evening, as they gathered around a fire under the starry sky, Captain Lyra shared stories of Earth. "We have our own battles," she explained, her voice warm and inviting. "But we always fight for what is right. We believe in protecting those who cannot protect themselves." Tharoon listened, captivated by her words. He felt a deep connection to Lyra and her people. "We have faced many battles as well," he shared. "But this fight is different. It is not just about our survival. It is about standing together for a better future." As the days turned into weeks, their bond grew stronger. They trained hard and their friendship deepened. The Xylaris people learned to fight alongside the humans, combining their unique strengths. Tharun and Lyra became close allies, strategizing together to prepare for the next battle. Then one day, as they were training in the clearing, scouts returned with urgent news. "The enemy is gathering again," one of the scouts reported, breathing heavily. "They plan to attack soon. They are larger and more organized than before." Tharun felt his heart race. "We need to prepare. We must rally our forces and defend our home." Captain Lyra nodded, her expression resolute. "We'll hold a council tonight. We will discuss our strategy and make our stand together." That evening, the villagers and soldiers gathered in a large hall. Tharun stood at the front, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. "This is our moment," he began, looking around at his allies. "We have trained hard, and we have come together as one. Now we must show the enemy that we will not back down." Captain Lyra stepped forward, her voice strong. "They underestimate us. They think they can divide us, but they are wrong. We will fight with courage and strength side by side. Together we will defend our world." Cheers erupted from the crowd, filling the hall with a sense of unity and determination. Tharun felt a surge of hope, realizing that they were no longer just a small tribe or a group of soldiers. They were a united force. As the night grew darker, they discussed their plan. They would set traps, create barriers, and use the land to their advantage. Every Xylaris and human soldier would play a role in the defense of their home. As they finished their preparations, Tharun looked out at the stars, feeling a sense of peace. They were ready. They would stand together, fighting for their future and for each other. In the face of danger, they had become a family, and when the enemy arrived, they would show them the true meaning of strength, courage, and unity. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead.